Okay, so we have gone through the psychological psycho aspect of teaching listening. Why do you need to know all of this? How can you benefit from that? You can ask yourself, and I can tell you that the key question which you always have to ask yourself is, how can I teach it better? And the better you know and understand your students, the better you're able to deliver your teaching, the knowledge. That's why I suspected, that's why I suppose that this could be useful. It can give you some thoughts and some ideas how your students understand listening, what are they struggling with when practicing listening, and how you could deal with that. And now, in order to give more comprehensive answer to this question, how can I teach it better, I would suggest you to get into your students' shoes and feel how they are feeling when you suggest them a piece of listening. Okay, let's do it. So imagine you are students and here is your listening activity. Now just listen.
Hoş geldin.
Merhaba.
Buyurun nasıl?
Teşekkürler. Kusura bakma geç kaldım.
Ben de yeni gelmiştim zaten.
Nasılsın?
İyiyim, sen nasılsın?
İyi, ben de iş güç. Ya sen ne iş yapıyordun? Yani Neriman yengem senden bahsetmişti ama insanların ne iş yaptığını merak etmediği için kendisi.
Yani şöyle, ben çok yoğunum ama çalışmıyorum. Yani çok mesai falan yapamıyorum ama çok yoğunum.
Çalışmıyorsun ama yoğunsun.
Evet.
Okay, so can you feel the shock of your students when they're listening to the foreign language? Okay, for the first time or not for the first time, but still, this kind of feeling they get when you're listening and they're listening and they cannot get a word. So, and basically this activity, which is in Turkish, it is a Turkish serial about love, it just illustrated you how is that to listen to a speech in a foreign language. And on the example of this video, if it is your first time or some of the first times when you are listening to Turkish speech, to Turkish language, you might have felt like usually people feel on the 0 stage of listening comprehension. So with the help of this amazing video, now we're just going to go through these 6 steps of obtaining listening mastery, I would say. So first step, or I would even call it like 0 step, like here. 0 step, it is when you're listening to a foreign language and you cannot understand absolutely anything. For you, it's like some blah blah noise. You cannot get any kind of words. You don't understand when they are saying hello, when they're saying goodbye, nothing. Just a mess or chaos. And of course, your students feel the same way when they only start their listening practice on your lessons. And this period can last for 1-2 weeks of like 15 minutes per day listening. Okay, if we listen 6 times per week, for example, I would say, okay, maybe about 2 hours. Yeah, about 2 hours of constant non-stop listening, you are on this stage. Your brain is absolutely shocked because it's a brand new information, you cannot recognize anything. Then could be the stage number 1. After you have become able to indicate the beginnings and the ends of sentences. Of course, you still don't get the sentences, and basically you might not even get any words. Still, you are starting to indicate the beginning and the end of a thought. This is like period number 2. begin and end points. Again, if you're listening to that often, regularly, this stage would be 1 week of like 15 minutes of listening per day. So approximately within 1.5 hours, you will get rid of this. So here we have like 2-3 weeks in the previous stage. Then the next level. Let me tell you a piece of information. I chose Turkish because I suppose that you must know anything about it. So let me tell you a couple of the words in Turkish, and then we're going to listen to this episode again. So if you want to say yes, it's evet. Evet. If you want to say much or many, it's çok. It's spelled like this. And if you want to say thank you, it's teşekkür. Something like that. Let me check. Yeah. Teşekkür. Teşekkür. It is thank you. Or çok teşekkür. Thank you very much. And now, please listen to this very episode one more time.
Merhaba. Teşekkürler. Kusura bakma geç kaldım.
Ben de yeni gelmiştim zaten.
Nasılsın?
İyiyim, sen nasılsın?
İyi ben de iş güç. Ya sen ne iş yapıyordun? Yani Neriman yengem senden bahsetmişti ama insanların ne iş yaptığını merak etmediği için kendisi.
Yani şöyle, ben çok yoğunum ama çalışmıyorum. Yani çok mesai falan yapamıyorum ama çok yoğunum.
So, as you might have noticed, this lady has just, in her final monologue, she used çok 3 times. This word you can recognize, but not even from the first time. Not even if you know this word. You know, I just introduced these words to you. You can recognize them by hearing. Why? Because your brain hasn't been adapted to this kind of information, so it just ignores it, for some time. But with more listening, with more practice, your brain becomes more and more adapted, and you start recognizing some separated words, like I would say the simplest words, or the words which you know. So period number, like third period, but we would call it number 2, these are just separated words. And when I mean separated words, I mean separated words. Okay, so separated words. Again, you can come from this level to this level, again, within 1-2 weeks of 15 minutes per day of listening. Yeah, it must be. Why it must be religious? Again, because our brain gets adapted with more practice. It's the best, as I said on grammar training, I suppose that here is the magic number of new information, 12%, which our brain can digest and build into our knowledge system, into our picture of the world. 12%. That's why it is much more efficient when you take little piece of information and adjust it to your knowledge every day, regularly. Yeah, so every day, for example, today you have been doing that for 5-10 minutes, your brain has got some new information and you forget about it till the next day. And by next day, your brain will have been able to digest it and set it a little bit into your picture of the world, into your knowledge base. In the other case, when, for example, you make big breaks, like 1 week, 2 week breaks, but then you're sitting and listening, for example, to the same kind of Turkish serial, if you're studying Turkish, or English serial for English, and you, but you do that intensively for 2 or 3 hours, you will get much more than 12% of information. You will have the informational overload. Yeah, you will be sick of this information, and again your brain will be able to spend to take 12%, use it and digest it. All the other information will go to trash. And again, if we are talking about efficiency of the activity, let's imagine that you have spent on listening 2 or 3 hours in a row. Let's imagine during your listening, for example, you have heard like 500 words, which you could recognize, yeah? And of these 500 words, your brain is going to digest about 60 words. So only 60 words will be somehow fixed and recognized by your grammar. This number of words will go to trash, yeah? And let's spread these 2 hours into, for example, 6 days of 15-20 minutes per day. So, and each day, for example, you're listening to something for 15 minutes, yeah? 15 minutes here, and for example, within one listening, you hear, okay, within one listening, for example, you hear, we can say, okay, 50 words. 50 words, 50 words. And if we take 12%, okay, let's say it will be 5 words each day, your brain recognizes in listening. We don't know, are these new 5 words, are these old 5 words, but okay, let's say these are like, imagine 5 new words, not 5, it's impossible, but okay, okay, so 5 words which your brain, which are kind of new, and your brain recognizes them and digests them, and they go into your passive vocabulary, because mostly listening, it's about forming passive vocabulary and passive ability to comprehend the information. Okay, and we can calculate and we'll see that it's the same number. For example, approximately here we'll get like, okay, 15 words. 15 words. Okay, 3 days it's 15 words, other 3 days are other 15 words. So even 30 words for 6 days of listening. And 2 hours we somehow get and become able to digest 60 words. But the question is about the quality of these words, yeah? Even in order to hear 60 words, you need to know them. Yeah, you can hear them only if you know these words. And again, even if you hear 60 words for you, let's imagine that the next listening you complete in 2 weeks. And how many of these words will you be able to remember? 12%. So 5 words you will be able to remember next week. While if you listen here, for example, here within 1 week, you have only learned to recognize 30 new words, which is kind of good result. But if you take only 1 day break, and then you come to listening again of these words, you will be able to recognize 20 or 25 words. Yeah, because you didn't get all this information in 1 day, and your brain didn't keep only 5%. 12%. Your brain didn't keep 5 words in storage, since each day you have been adding to your storage like 5 words, up to 5 words, yeah, and they have been naturally digested, like got here, digested, got here, digested, got here, digested, got here, digested, got here, digested. So this background of the word, this storage of the words has been created naturally with natural speed of our brain, and next time your brain is ready to add 5 more to this, but in the storage we already have something. And in this case, it's like you're listening to something, and here there are these 60 words. Out of these 60 words, only this your brain can actually remember. So these are only like 5 words. So, which is less than 30 words. Okay, so you might get confused because of that, but I guess intuitively everybody understands that if you do each day but little bit, the effect is usually bigger than if you do something once per 2 weeks, for example, where the effect is usually less noticeable. Why? Because of this formula. If you want to, you can ask me. If you don't understand this something about this formula, you can ask me, I will explain you, or you can watch this episode one more time. Okay, so basically what we're talking about here. So if you just learn to listen separated words, yeah, it's going to take you I would say about 2 weeks, or even no, sorry, I would say about 1 month, when you come from separated words to hearing expressions, because it is stage number 3, when you start hearing some easy phrases, yeah, easy phrases. So in general, you catch up to 30% of what you hear, up to. If you are able to catch 5%, that's not a bad result for a beginner, for elementary level. 10%, good. 20, great. Yeah, if you're able to catch 30%, it means you are able to catch the general canvas of the conversation, which is again not bad. If you don't have that high level, that's a good result. That's the target result. To understand 30% of the communication, so to catch some parts of the phrases, of the sentences, and get the general idea. And of course, from separated words to easy phrases, I would say it would take 1 month of regular listening. Of course, if you listen more during the day, if, for example, you have downloaded some serial which you really enjoy and you want to watch it like 1 hour per day, not necessarily sitting and watching, but for example, you're watching as a background when you're cooking something, when you're getting dressed, putting on your makeup, and so on. So summary is 1 hour of listening per day. You can get there faster. Yeah, but if we take 15 minutes per day, I would say it's 1 month, or maybe even 2 months for some people. One month, let's take 1 month. Then the next level is level number 4. Level number 4, which is about understanding good, solid phrases. I would say like some pieces of monologues, dialogues. It's when you understand up to 70% of what you listen to, yeah. Up to 70%. And level number 5, which is maybe not the level of a native speaker, yeah, but I would say it's when you understand more than 90%. What do I mean? More than 90%, and it can be even more than 100%. What do I mean? When you are on this level, you understand not only the phrases themselves, but you also understand some shades. You also understand something that hasn't been said, but which was meant. You understand some kind of what is not pronounced, what is obvious, but you also understand what they are talking about, and you can repeat each phrase, or you can write subtitles for this video, and having very little not understood or non-understood words. And now let's think of which level of English knowledge is contains which level of listening comprehension stage. Yeah, so these are like 6 stages. We have discussed each of them, and I would say for this level, one more thing which is typical for this level. This is like a person gets very well what is said, yet he or she is struggling with repeating each word of that, because again they haven't heard some of the words and they might be a little confused in details, but they catch the general sense. Here it is when you have heard something and, for example, in a couple of minutes you cannot even remember which language was it said in, but you can give the sense very, very clearly, and just after you have listened you can repeat the phrase. Okay, and now the level of English comprehension. So of course, if we take like beginner level, elementary level, beginner is this stages, beginners. Yeah. Then we would say that here is like elementary. Here and like here, yeah, elementary. Pre-intermediate is here, like here, yeah. Here is here is pre-intermediate. Here is intermediate and uppers. I would say like uppers, yeah, here. Here are like advanced learners, can be like here, advanced. And we can say like, if here are advanced, here are like the proficiency level of the teacher's proficiency. And some here, yeah, will be native speakers. Yes. So the levels are like this. And basically our in terms of teaching listening, I would suggest you one more scheme to understand better what is exactly our task, because you can ask me